Hey, good Tuesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Brad Panovich with an update on the cold front and our tropical depression number 3. The cold front, much bigger story than the tropical depression. Even though it's a tropical depression, it's really going to have almost no impact at all on the Carolinas and even parts of the United States. It's going to stay mainly offshore, and I'll get right to that here in a moment. You can see our cold front actually showing up nicely here. The cold front is right here, beginning to move into the mountains. Here's Tropical Depression 3. This is actually not even it. It's this little thing right here. All the activity is staying offshore. So even in Florida, where you're really close to the center of this thing, you're barely noticing it's out there. All the thunderstorms are going to stay offshore. And because of this cold front, we're likely never going to see much of an impact anywhere on the coast. Maybe some higher surf and some rip currents. Here's a look at the radar and the frontal boundary. You can see it moving across the mountains right there. There's our investigation area right there, and you can see all the moisture offshore. If we go in closer to the Carolinas, the first thing you'll notice here, let me pause this, and I'll turn the radar off, is that we've got a flood watch up for the mountains, foothills, and northwest Piedmont. This flood watch is up until 12 o'clock this afternoon. Could actually be extended. I think it will be extended in a few locations, especially as the front kind of drifts across the area. But we've got a pretty good batch of rain moving across the area this morning, and that's showing up on the radar pretty well right now. It's slow mover because the front is not in a big hurry to move through. That's why the flood threat is going to increase. We've also got a severe weather threat here in eastern North Carolina later this afternoon, because if we get the heating of the day, which I fully expect will happen, we're going to see a medium threat for severe storms in eastern North Carolina. So you see the area in orange. And again, this is mainly for damaging winds and some small hail. Tornado threat is less than 1%. So this really isn't a tornado setup. It's more of a wind threat. But you can see as the front pushes east, if there's enough sunshine here, didn't mean to move the map like that for you, we will see the potential, I don't know why the map keeps moving, we will see the potential for some strong and maybe even severe thunderstorms in eastern North Carolina later this afternoon. And all along the way, our tropical depression is going to stay offshore, really not in a big hurry to move anywhere near us. In fact, if I pull up the Hurricane Center forecast clearly shows everything staying offshore tonight and later today as depression, then depression off the Outer Banks tomorrow morning. Really no impact on the United States overall. So let's go back and take a look at the futurecast and see where this thing is going to go this afternoon. So let's look at the futurecast to see how things unfold today. Again, this is futurecast. We'll go into the afternoon hours. You can see the line of showers and thunderstorms starting to perk up around 1 o'clock or so. This is when we could see some stronger storms develop as it pushes to the east. This is 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're almost at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You can see it pushing off to the coast at the same time. Really even hard to see where our tropical depression is. Probably up in here somewhere by then, getting pulled to the north and then pushing off to the east pretty quickly. And by the time we get to tomorrow morning, most of the rain is away from us except for some lingering showers along the coast where that front kind of gets hung up. And I'll put this into motion a couple times, and you'll see this the next 60 hours as this whole thing kind of shifts off to the east and becomes a non-player for us. So the front really is the story today as it pushes through. And again, just the timing of this, the showers and storms are in the mountains now. As we go into the middle of the day, right around 1 o'clock, they start to perk up across the Piedmont. This is when we could see some strong storms develop. And then eastern North Carolina has the biggest threat this evening, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, as this pushes off to the east. And, oh, by the way, the best part about all this, didn't even get to mention this, is the fact that we've got very cool temperatures moving in behind this system. So let me turn the radar back on, and we'll turn the temperatures back on. And you can see the air mass behind here is actually much, much cooler. I'll put the temperature map on here for a second. Let me pause this. And you can see the air mass back here. We got a lot of 60s showing up. It looks great back in here. 50s and 60s. Feeling much cooler back to the northwest. This much cooler air mass moving in is going to feel great. But to me, the bigger story is the dew points have dropped off dramatically. Let's fill in the dew points. And to me, this is where you're going to notice the major cool down, because these are dew points. Look how juicy it is ahead of this front. Dew points in the 70s. Back in here, we've got 50-degree dew points moving in behind this. So twofold today. We get some rain, some clouds, temperatures only about 81, and then much cooler temperatures this week. And it's summer cool. We're talking highs in the 80s, not the 90s, morning lows in the 60s, and not the 70s. So it's going to feel great over the next couple of days. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.